Welcome in, Cult Lords fans. Dane here.
Mm-hmm. And JR over here.
We are back to do another episode review of The Last of Us. And Dane, this was episode 6. It was called Kin.
Mm-hmm. What an exciting title.
As in the Greg Kin Band, right? No, spelled differently. Kin, just K-I-N. Good word for Scrabble there. Actually, a bad word for Scrabble, so only 3 letters. Unless you put that K on a triple
like
word.
A pumpkin?
Yeah. All right. Well, we want to thank you. And again, if you're new to the channel, please hit subscribe. We're looking to raise our subscriber count, obviously. Trying to get to 1,000.
Thanks for letting us hit 500 on your dime.
That's right.
We're trying to get to 1,000 on the next dime.
About halfway there. So, and then hit like, and then we always need double-digit likes. It helps us get higher into the algorithms. And then comment, tell us what you thought about this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Did you like this episode? If you played the game, which, warning, we did not play the game, and so we don't know about the game stuff. But if you played the game, you know, is this following in accordance with the game?
Is it in canon?
Is it in canon? So, or are they setting new canon? I don't know. All right.
Also, we're going to go into heavy spoilers.
Spoiler alert!
Spoiler alert!
Red alert! Red alert!
Oh, finally, the alarm shut off.
Yes. So if you haven't seen this episode yet, and you want to see it first before hearing our discussion on it, make sure to hit pause. Go watch the episode. It's only about an hour long. Then come back and then join us, if you will, in our review of this episode.
Yep.
All right, Dane.
Yes, sir.
Let's see. Where did we start off with this one? We started off... Oh, I know where we started off. We saw Kicking Bird bringing in the rabbit and coming into his cabin.
Oh, yes.
Do you know who Kicking Bird is?
The actor?
Well, the actor's name is Graham.
I know.
Graham Greene.
Dancing with Wolves.
Yeah, his name in Dances with Wolves was Kicking Bird.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't...
And like that was the first time I ever saw him in a movie, and I've seen him in a lot of movies since. But every time I see him, I say, "Oh, it's Kicking Bird," because
he was great in that movie. I gotta watch that again. I saw Dancing with Wolves in France, in Paris, and then I don't know if I've ever seen it again.
Oh my gosh, Dane! I've watched Dances with Wolves maybe 20 times, and then I have the extended version on
that?
Blu-ray. About 30 more minutes put into the movie. Yep.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
So it's really good. It's really good.
I'm gonna have to borrow that from you because my son has never seen it. So we want to watch it together one of these days.
Yeah.
So looking forward to it. But yeah, so he walks in with his
rabbit,
his 2 rabbits.
Yeah, 2 rabbits. And
talks to his wife like, "What are you doing there?" And then she looks over like, "Somebody's over there."
Yeah, he immediately knows. They must have had some sort of signals. He goes, "So somebody's in the house?" And she's like, "Mm-hmm." And he goes, "And you didn't shoot him with your gun?" "Mm-hmm."
No, my gun was over there. Yeah. I'm a little too tired to get up and get my gun. Yeah. It was over there.
She was a character in just her little bit, wasn't she? She like really kind of stole that opening scene to me. And
then he's like, "You made him soup?"
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were hungry. He's got a girl with her, and then it was like, what? It was a lot packed into it, like 30 seconds there.
Yeah, it was probably only about 3 or 4 minutes, you know, of the opening there, but it was really kind of cool. So, you know, he helps explain where people are living beyond the river, and that Cody fell. Cody fell. Where
Cody, Wyoming
fell, and that's where they were supposed to be, his brother, and I guess they had gone there and there was nothing there, just walkers. Remember? Because
that's right.
The girl
she kind of breezed through a number of things like, we saw that one, and we saw Laramie, I think was the other one, or something I don't know. Like that. I thought there was 2,
but they went to. She says in Cody, it's just
which
walkers.
Would have made a great episode, by the way.
Yeah.
Hey, you're supposed to show it on screen, not talk about it on screen. I was like, when I heard that, I'm like, what? I mean, that was a total missed opportunity there.
So then, but he's like, no, cross the river of death.
Yes.
There, you know, bodies show up, both zombie and non-zombie, just all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And that bad people live over there.
Yeah.
So,
which is funny, because, of course, they are pretty friendly. She grabs their things, and then when they're leaving, this is the first time I think we've seen Joel. Seems like he's definitely going downhill here a little bit.
Having some heart issues or something. Anxiety, maybe? Yeah.
Had some bad Chinese food.
Need some Xanax? I don't know.
Had some bad Chinese food that you'll never go back to again.
Yeah.
But
so they take off, and I think Joel knows. Well, you know what? If my brother's going to be anywhere, he's probably across that river of death.
Of course.
And but he wants to be cautious. But Ellie, man, she's like, ooh, she's almost like not afraid of anything. Probably because she's immune, right? I guess if you're immune to a bite, you might be a little less cautious. But I mean, they can still rip your head off like that one last week.
Well, and actually, that's one. I'm trying to think about, has she ever directly been attacked? She was running through that group, but, I guess they went out. Okay, because my point is that, and maybe the dog, because there was a dog where it came up and sniffed her and everything, confirmed this, is that she appears even to the infected like she's not infected. She's virgin territory, in other words. Yeah, good point.
So, so they are definitely, I mean, the zombies are definitely looking at her as food.
Fresh meat.
And because she, if you think about it,
brains.
She had been bitten months before she met Joel and Tess.
Right.
I think it was 3 months. Then she got bitten I think it was in the church or something, right? She got bitten again somewhere.
Did she get bitten?
Yes. She got bitten again somewhere in front of Joel. I kind of got to remember where that was. And then they waited that out. Then when he saw that, I think he became a true believer. And then I think she was attacked by the kid last week. I don't know if she was bitten though, but the kid was attacking her.
Yeah, and actually the part where you're talking about where she did get bit was when she gets scanned when Joel attacks the guard in episode 2 or whatever. It is. Remember? Then she had the cut on her and everything. Mm-hmm. That's definitely an interesting paradox there. No fear, but yet. There's a lot out there that can kill you that isn't a zombie.
Exactly.
That dog scene, though, when those dogs came in when they got captured after they've been traveling for a while.
Sniffing them, yeah.
I mean, they really drew that one out.
You know what? You were wondering, are they going to smell it or are they not going to smell it, right?
Right.
And apparently, they couldn't smell infection on her.
That was a good dog.
Yeah. So she's like, oh, hey, baby.
Yeah, I know. That was very subtle the way they did that. Where Joel, he's like, she's just going to get her head ripped off.
Right.
Like, what was a good doggy?
So we are introduced to Rutina. We're introduced to Maria. Who
Rutina, the actress.
Was Tara Thornton in True Blood, if you remember.
She's never going to be able to outlive that
sometimes roles job. Just like when you see her, you're like, oh, True Blood, right?
I've seen, because she was in something else in the last few years. She's been in a few things, yeah. I'm always like, it's True Blood.
True Blood.
I can't see you beyond that.
Yeah. It's hard, because that other guy, Ryan Quentin or whatever.
Yeah.
Every time I see him, I'm like, oh, that's Jason Stackhouse or whatever, right?
He's been trying to change his little thing.
Yeah.
He came out with what? Was it Sabotage? Mm-hmm. No, it was something. What was he in anyways? Anyway, so yeah, she comes out of the woodwork. She's, I'm assuming, the leader.
Well, she's on the council. She says she's not the leader.
Yeah.
Because, it's a communist town.
Mm-hmm.
Remember? as Joel says, it's a communism here.
Yeah, that was interesting how he was like, what?
Yeah.
What's going on here?
It is kind of the basis of communism. But on that small scale, that works out. You know what I mean? It's more like a tribal kind of thing. You know what I mean? I'm sure back in the, in ancient times when there was tribes, there was like councils like that too, I'm sure, right? And everybody was, hunting or fishing or farming for the rest of the community, because while you were doing those tasks, they were guarding you, or they were building shelters, or they were
rebuilding your clothes.
Yeah, making your clothes,
cleaning the poop house,
doing whatever.
Somebody has to do it.
Somebody has to do it. Yeah.
They conveniently skipped that part when she's giving the tour of the town. Like, where's all this going?
Yeah.
I mean, I know they had electricity because of the dam,
right?
And obviously that was also a big dovetail into like the Christmas lights and the movie that they show up at.
Yeah. That's the movie they have. And by the way, so it looked like an overhead projector with actual reel-to-reel film. Like, right? I'm like, oh my gosh.
I didn't pay attention to that level, but it was. And a weird thing is, it's the Goodbye Girl with Richard Dreyfuss, which is ironically not on HBO right now.
Yeah.
It's like, I think they missed their opportunity there.
Well, no, but if I watch heavy spoilers, and there was a purpose for that movie in this. So what that movie was about, Richard Dreyfuss was the boyfriend of this woman who had a child.
Okay.
But then what happened was, the child was like starting to kind of cling on to him, and then they broke off the relationship, and then the girl felt abandoned because he left the relationship. Oh. But then in the end, he comes back to try to be a part of the relationship and win him back over, and then he comes back into the relationship, and then they're full again. So it's kind of like a little bit of a representation of the relationship between Ellie and Joel in this. So.
If I may, it was, I think, a symbolic metaphor. Is what
there you go.
Exactly was.
There you go.
I didn't realize, because I didn't know the backstory of that movie. I did look up the title, because as soon as I saw Richard Dreyfuss, like, I haven't seen this movie before. What is this?
Once again,
so it's good to know that.
If you want to go and watch a review where they go through all the Easter eggs and all of the backstory, and they compare it to the game, and they do a really good job of breaking it down, go to the channel called Heavy Spoilers, and we'll put it in the information. I put it every week in case you want to go watch those Easter eggs. It's really good.
Now, of course, that is after you watch us.
Yes.
And hit subscribe for us.
Yes.
And then go over to Heavy Spoilers.
And tell them, leave a comment that the Cult Lords sent you.
That's
over
right.
There, so.
Say, Heavy Spoilers, Cult Lord sent me.
Mm-hmm. So,
all right. So
yeah, he gets a tour of the town, but as they're coming in, he sees his brother.
Mm.
His brother's hadn't had a haircut in a while. Definitely got longer hair than the opening of this.
It was interesting seeing how Tommy didn't seem to have aged.
Yeah.
And Joel is definitely, it's Josh, right?
Yeah.
Joel has definitely aged.
Oh yeah. Well,
and they made a point of that.
They made a point of that. Yeah. And first of all, Joel lost his daughter. Mm-hmm. Tommy did not. Joel has been more active in the last few years, as you can see. Tommy has not. Tommy has been living kind of the good life with his fiance and just living in the town of Jackson now. They call it Jackson, right?
Although it said Jackson Hole on one of the signs.
Was it Jackson Hole? I wasn't. I guess I missed the hole.
Yes, you did miss the hole. Because I was thinking, what is this place? It seems like already established and everything. And then when they were riding on the horses, there was a sign that said, "Welcome to Jackson Hole."
Okay. So it must have been like an area of Jackson Hole.
Yeah, because it was definitely not. Jackson Hole's huge.
Well,
comparatively speaking.
Comparatively speaking to what we saw on set there, yes.
Right.
I agree with that. So, they're give them a little tour of the town. Joel and Tommy reunite and hug and
work out their differences.
Bring them into a really nice kind of mess hall they had.
Yeah, they were like, it was like buffet station.
Yeah, they got a buffet station. They still had Christmas lights all
No more of this.
Yeah, no more of that. Chef Boyardee.
Oh.
Yeah, there was a little bar to the side that he took them to that was stocked. I guess they still have bottles of.
I couldn't see what it was, but it would look kind of like.
It's 20 years old.
I mean, Bullet or something.
Was it
sealed? It was.
No, but I mean,
the shape of it was like Bullet, but you couldn't tell.
I'm not questioning the stableness of alcohol. I'm just that there's still some left.
Oh yeah,
like they wouldn't have drunk it over like.
It did look like he was rationing it out or something because nobody else was in that bar, and he was like, "Here's a little for you, a little for me," you know. Yeah, that was interesting. I mean, that community is obviously doing really well.
Right, but what we learned is that his brother had deserted the Fireflies, like a few years back,
right?
And this kind of group took him in, trusted him. They built this town. They talked about what they were able to cordon off at the beginning, and they keep expanding it. And they just happen to have an empty house for, Ellie and
room to spare.
A little empty house for them to go live in
We also do find out that Tommy is going to have a kid with Maria.
We do learn that a little bit later.
Remember,
but yes.
was that later? Okay,
Yeah,
I couldn't
that
remember
was
which scene
that was
then.
that was when, after all this happened, you know, all the pleasantries. That's when, and it was, you know, during the night when they were having
Watching
this
the
little
movies,
watching the movie.
Yeah.
Tommy like goes away, meets up with his brother, and that's where his brother breaks down and shows all the stress that's been on him. It just pours out.
Right.
And, you know,
yeah, this is
Pedro Pascal finally can do some acting, you know, not behind a mask or something, you know what I mean? Like
right.
on Mandalorian.
Oh, yes, I know.
So, you know, but yeah, he's
been doing some great acting.
Yeah, I
he's
agree.
Definitely got the nuances down with the way he does his little, like, crying occasionally.
Yeah.
I'm pissed, or...
But he breaks down and he's like, I can't protect her anymore because I'm slipping.
Mm-hmm.
And as you could see, like, you know, when he said, I'll take the next 2 watches, he falls asleep. He wakes up to her with his gun standing over in the corner guarding them. And he realizes, you know, I'm not what I used to be at this, you know. He's having anxiety attacks. He can't hear out of one ear. He can't stay up all night. Mm-hmm. And he's afraid that where he needs to get her, he's going to fail her.
Right.
And get her killed.
And so go ahead.
That's why he wants his brother to do it.
Right, and he, you know, he definitely feels like he can't do it anymore, and he tries to tell her, explain to her, hey, I'm you know, you got to go with the best bet here.
Yeah, because apparently
so,
Ellie was there listening over the conversation.
Yeah, she snuck out. I was trying to figure out where would she be to hear all of that, because when that happened on screen, I was wondering, like, what is she doing? Mm-hmm. She's out, like, by herself. I'm like, oh, somebody's going to get her or grab her, or, you know, there's a zombie running around. Like, that would be Walking Dead.
Right.
So.
Once again, this town doesn't seem to fear. I mean, I'm sure they do talk about zombies showing up and they kill the zombies.
Mm-hmm.
But, man, this town looked like perfect living. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
First of all, I mean, it didn't seem like they had the governor kind of rule.
No.
Over them. It sounded like it was a nice community. Occasionally they had push back raiders, right? Mm-hmm. But it seemed like this was a utopian living for that type of
if everyone
society.
Works together. Yeah. I mean, and plus they had the dam with unlimited electricity, so that always helps. Mm-hmm. Running water and flushing toilets always helps the community out.
Right. Right.
And cooking food. I don't know what the governor, how was he keeping his town sustained? I don't remember.
Well, he was keeping his town sustained similar to that, but he was ruling with an iron fist.
Yeah.
And then he would keep the population entertained by staging zombie versus people like fights or something like that.
Right,
remember?
right.
Like
Coliseum, like
Coliseum style,
yes.
So doesn't seem like there was anything like that nefarious going on here.
No.
So but the brother agrees, even after all that, because I think he sees the angst on his brother's face. He's probably never seen his brother act that way.
Right, and also he's the only other person he told that she is immune. Yeah. So he realizes, okay, I've got to step up and take this mission on because if you can't do it, somebody has to do it.
Well, and basically Joel says, look, you're about to have a kid. Do you want that kid to grow up in a world where there's hope?
Guilts him. Gives him a guilt
for a
trip.
cure.
Yeah.
Because if you want hope that they can live in a world where there's no virus, we got to get this girl to Colorado, or Salt Lake. Salt Lake is where it moved on to. Right? Oh no! It was Colorado first,
right?
And then so we're gonna get to White.
And specifically, and although I don't know if this is where they filmed at University of Eastern Colorado, which I thought, well, this is a really nice looking campus.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, that was Salt Lake City is what they found.
So what happens in the morning, Dane, when Tommy gets up?
They're all ready to go.
He grabs the girl. She's all ready.
And then Joel realizes, I'm going to give you a choice.
You deserve a choice. I still think you'd be better off with Tommy.
Let's go.
Okay.
They had south.
Another long horsey ride
Yeah.
or walking thing.
We have time to practice shooting with each other.
Mm-hmm.
We have time to tell jokes and.
That was funny with
Yeah.
the you dick.
Yeah. So and you know what? For a second, I kind of thought, well, maybe because sometimes your scope can be misaligned from your gun, and you have to set the scope or zero it in to make sure it's aligned.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, well, maybe nope. He proved nope. You're just bad at shooting
right through the A-hole.
Yes. Yeah. He found the hole. So.
And they keep going. They keep walking. They get to the place.
Yeah.
And then they.
Oh my gosh! And when they get to the place, it's dead quiet.
Yeah.
But you hear stuff. We find
Running
out
around.
monkeys are running.
Monkeys are running loose. Monkeys out the lamb.
Yeah. And you know what?
These are kind
all
of disturbing. Can you imagine walking into a place and like a pack of monkeys are running around? It was like 20 monkeys.
Yeah, and those weren't quite baboons, which would scare the heck out of me. If you ever watch videos of baboons, they're the most vicious.
Was that Nope? Was that a baboon?
No, that was a chimp.
Yeah.
That was a chimp. Chimps and baboons, man.
These look like if they're called like
these
or
something. Yeah, these are like the Japanese looking monkeys.
With the big red butts.
Yeah, but they got big teeth. So, but they're running around, and what they learn is, first of all, so they go into like the university hall,
right.
And it's just always interesting to see how, 20 years no people there, or 20 years since society's fallen, there's papers thrown everywhere, everything's out of sorts, but they find some information. It looks like that there was a pack list for people to leave, but then they hear upstairs like glass breaking and movement.
And what did you hope?
I hope
it's a zombie!
Well, I didn't hope. I'm like, once again, I'm putting myself in their shoes, and I'm thinking, there's zombies upstairs. Oh, but let's go look at them. Let's go see them.
Let's go check this one out.
Yeah, let's go check them out, because we got to make sure those are zombies. And I'm like, because I would probably, get out of the building. But they...
You wouldn't go check?
No.
Well,
because once you decide I'm going to go check, first of all, if it's a human, they're not going to be walking around bumping into things, dropping glass. Psh, psh.
Yeah.
That's not what humans do. That's what zombies would be doing, or in this case, animals. But I'm like, okay, if we go upstairs, we put our lives at risk, at great risk. Do we do that?
And I think and I agree with what you're going from there, but I think what threw them off was they were expecting this to be the Firefly camp.
Yeah.
And there was nobody around. So when they hear something upstairs, they're like, oh, we got to go make sure. Is there somebody upstairs that's
if
part
Fireflies
of the
were there, they'd be out at the guard post.
Yeah.
And you would have interacted with them already.
In your particular case, you would have been like, I'm out of here.
We're out of here. I would say this place is done. This is toast. And but they did go upstairs and get some pertinent information that it looks like they made a move to Salt Lake City.
Yes, based on the map.
Based on the maps.
And the funny thing is that this, from a gaming standpoint, you know what I mean? You would have taken that option, and then unfortunately you would have never figured out that they went to Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
So the movie, the whole show in general is being really written from a gamer standpoint. Yeah. Like, all right, I'm going to go this way. Option B or option A?
If this was real life and I'm Joel and Ellie, I would be very risk adverse, because your life can end in a second if you make the wrong choice. So I hear something like that upstairs, I'm like, we're not going up there. We're not going up there.
Yeah.
Because how do you know it's not, I mean, you just watched, I say last week, that last episode, you just watched all those things come out of a hole together and overwhelm 40 guys, armed guys.
Well, that's true. I mean, you're right. I mean,
so how do you know there's not 10 up there to overwhelm you?
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe there's something where they're so used to them being more on the lower levels that it's super rare to find one up top, and we're just not knowing this from a gaming standpoint. Maybe they reinforce that in the game, that they're never on the second floor.
Once again, I'd be risk adverse. I'd be like, no. But they go up there, it's the monkeys that are making the sound.
Right.
That's where they learn that they went to Salt Lake. But then they hear some men's voices. And what they see out there is, it's like just raiders, you know what I mean? Looking out on the lam, looking for stuff. So they're like, oh, we got to get out of here. So they tiptoe downstairs, quietly make it back to the
back
horse.
door.
And then Joel, once again, not aware of his surroundings, let somebody come up on him. And I would be like, you face that way, Ellie, and I'm going to be backing my way into the horse. I would have seen that guy.
In fact, she told him that he was coming.
Because he was behind him. Like, oh, behind you. I would have had my back to her looking out that way, and I'd be saying, you look that way, let me get on first, and then we'll get you up. But once again, Joel is not paying attention.
Falling down on the job.
And he gets the shaft for that. He gets the wrong end of the shaft. Literally in the stomach.
Yeah. He does.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even know he gets it. Even worse, he doesn't even know he's going to half of a baseball bat and is stuck right into his
sharpened
kidney.
shank into him.
He got shanked. Mm-hmm. And she tells him, and actually, I was like kind of surprised he pulled that out, because I thought kind of like, why wouldn't you leave it there just to kind of, keep it from bleeding, plug the hole? Yeah. But he pulls it out, and then she's like, there's more people!
I think that's everybody's natural reaction to pull it out. But in most instances, it's better to leave it in for a while until you can get to help. But,
right.
Yeah, so she pulls it out.
We learned that on Yellowstone, too, by the way, when that sheriff gets bucked off onto, like, the fence post.
Yes, yeah. And Rip is like, don't move! And she's like, but anyways.
She lived.
Yeah. So, but anyways, they get on the horse.
Take off. The Raiders are like, I'm going to get you.
They get outside the city.
And it was interesting that those guys had no guns.
Yes.
It was just, they just had bats and sticks and,
Well, you know what?
Pointed sticks.
I mean, you're not going to find guns everywhere. And ammunition is going to become scarce. Because it's
hard to make.
It's hard to make, yeah. And without an industrial society going on. To go and find natural resources to make gunpowder, it's like you're going to have to go to caves and find, like, bat guano. Then you're going to have to find, different kinds of materials, sulfur. And, it's like, it's not an easy thing. You know what I mean?
Unless you're in Star Trek in the Gorn episode where Kirk...
You find some sulfur, then you find some diamonds in the raw, right?
Right.
And then a big bamboo
tube.
First, potassium nitrate. And now, if you can find some sulfur and a charcoal deposit, or ordinary coal.
Twine, and then some, like,
boom, boom,
boom,
boom,
boom, boom.
All right, so they make it out of town, and the episode ends where Joel literally
has lost so much blood, he just collapses off the horse.
And you know what? She's like trying to revive him, and it doesn't look like there's any reviving him this time.
I think he's dead. Right? I mean, look
look
at the next episode. He's not in it.
She's not in it. It looks like it's a flashback.
It is.
to what her backstory is and her friend.
Which was, we going to talk about that or not?
No, that's next episode.
That's next episode.
But anyways,
because it looked juicy.
Yeah, but it looks like this could be the end. But I can't imagine it is the end because
I assume it's not. But
who's the main character? Is it Joel or Ellie?
Well, it's Joel, in my mind.
So he can't be dead yet.
He can't be dead. Well, they established in Game of Thrones he could be dead, but
I think there's also...
She has no options if he's dead. I mean, she's completely, like, on her own in the middle of a train yard.
But you know what's going to happen? Somebody is going to come to their rescue and help them. Somebody.
We hope.
We think.
Please!
I don't know. I don't know how they're going to get out of this one. So I can't wait to watch 2 episodes from now, because it looks like next episode's not about Joel and Ellie.
Pedro gets a break.
Yeah. So what do you think of this episode?
It was kind of on the quiet side. I wasn't too happy about this episode, because, once again, it's like, this is a zombie show. You gotta have zombies. What? I mean, throw us a bone. Have something like in the woods.
Yeah.
Or when they cross the lake, or I guess that's the problem with this particular world is that the zombies are so restricted to certain things that they're really not going to appear everywhere.
So I wonder if because I'm sure in the game there's zombies everywhere that you have to kill. And if you're a gamer and you play this, let us know.
I'd love to know that.
Let us know this.
Is it more just...
Is it more the storyline?
Intrigue, detective work, following clues, making the right choices? Is that... I mean, that is in essence a game, but it's like,
Right.
come on, once in a while.
Well, you know,
you gotta get some zombies.
I mean, for me, I love world building. I love to see, you know, Jackson Hole, how it is now. I'd love to know how are they staying alive? How are they gathering food?
Right.
That's just kind of like the prepper in me, wanting to see how much ammunition do you have? How do you defend this? I want to see all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to see it also in action. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, why wouldn't they have one zombie tied up in a pen that they're studying or something?
I don't know.
And then it gets out and everyone's like, ah!
Well, that's why you don't have that. It's just make sure it doesn't get out. So I like the episode, but I agree this would be a little bit lower on the totem pole than some past episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, once again, I mean, I talk about it, it seems like in this world of zombies, there's less the fear.
Right.
Than other zombie worlds that I've seen.
I mean, you saw Black Summer. Remember when it was everyone was going to the wintry
Black
regions?
Summer, you're always on the edge of your seat.
Yes.
Because it is just everywhere. 28 days later, Walking Dead, you know, Dawn of the Dead. I mean, you got zombies everywhere, you know, and you're constantly worrying about zombies.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, it's just, you know.
This one seems to be more like you're worried about bad preparation the whole time.
Right.
I mean,
and it sounds like if you stay out of the cities,
like those people,
yeah. Like Kicking Bird and his wife, it's like you can live the rest of your life, and
yeah,
I think
as long as nobody shows up.
Yeah, as long as nobody shows up, you know, Bill and Frank, they lived a good life until basically disease. You know, took him down.
Took Frank down.
Yeah.
Bill didn't have to go anywhere, but he chose to go
But
someplace.
if he didn't contract that, whatever it was, ALS or whatever, they could have gone another 20 years.
Right. Oh, yeah. I mean, indefinitely. I mean, and in fact, I'm kind of surprised that they never tried to get Joel to just be there with Tess. I mean, it seemed like they were always like, nope. I mean, that's a whole other subcategory.
Or like, why can't you come here? Can you bring a doctor? You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know.
Well,
but at that point, it's probably too late.
People are killing the doctors, as we saw with Kathleen.
Yeah.
But you know, in this particular episode, it did answer a couple of things. Like, monkeys, can they get infected?
Yes. They said yes.
Well, no, they'll carrier, but they don't act like a zombie. They can bite you and they'll give it to you.
Maybe it was from heavy spoilers that I watched where they have infected monkeys. Like infected and has two terminology. Infected as in your carrier. Like a carrier.
Yeah. So the monkeys are a carrier because that's what ended up happening. I did some research on it. You probably found this too. But that's what ended up happening in the why there was no fireflies there is the lead scientist got bit. And then he committed suicide, but then the monkeys were loose, and so then I guess everyone had to take off because they were afraid to get bitten.
See, I heard, I mean, and I don't know if I saw it from the show or heavy spoilers, but I thought that the fireflies were overwhelmed by zombies, and as they were making a mad rush, they let all the monkeys loose.
No, yeah, I'm talking about what happened in the game, because not that I played it, but this is what they said in the game, is that he goes up there and he finds a recorder, and it's like the last scientist that says, we were doing experiments on the monkeys to see how they would react to early experience on the how do you pronounce that? Cordyceps celep or whatever the mushroom is that's attacking him. And he ended up getting bitten. And
okay, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
While he was letting the monkeys out, because he was feeling guilty about it, and so then everyone just took off because they didn't want to get caught with it. He had to commit suicide, that lead scientist, and so this is all on a recorder he finds.
I gotcha.
So, and in fact, in the game, they don't see any monkeys. So this was definitely a little bit of a change that they showed them running around and all that kind of stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, we told you what we thought. We like to hear what the Cult Lords viewers thought.
Yep.
Did you like this episode? Make sure to go down and hit subscribe if you haven't subscribed to us yet. Hit the like button, and then in the comments, let us know what you know about this, and tell us also what you liked or disliked about this episode. Did you like the world building? Did you like the relationship building between Ellie and Joel? Or were you like, man, where's the zombies at? Where's the action at? Not even with other people, was there any like sort of action? Maybe you don't need action in every episode. I don't think you need action in every episode, but I think out of 6 episodes, there's only action in like 2 episodes. It seems like I don't know, maybe 2.5 episodes. So tell us what you think. I'd love to read your comments. Back. Yeah, and Dane.
Yes.
Why don't you show us your monkey salute?
I was gonna say. Woo-hoo!